That is more than what we have realized in the past. Part of that, I don't know whether that has to do with so-called health care reform that is now occurring in Congress or what have you, but our premium will be up 12% in 2010. That's going to be approximately $350,000 extra that we'll have to absorb. Some of the other costs that we're looking at, of course, is the pay increases that the employees receive through the bargaining as well, and just the overall additional increase in costs that everyone is experiencing. Whether we have the funds, and I believe that as we proceed through the year 2010 we will, if we're looking at approximately a $1.3 million carryover from 2009 into the year 2010, some of the perceived shortfalls in revenues which have been projected may be able to be covered by that. However, that does mean that the closer we get to the end of 2010, and if our carryover is far less than what it was this year, then we are looking at projections beyond 2010 that we have to anticipate what we have to do for revenue within the city in order, excuse me, in order to meet our obligations. Part of that also includes that the challenge was put down at the latter part of 2008 going into the year 2009 that we would have more safety forces in order to bring our safety forces up closer to the strength they were prior to 2004. We looked at deep cuts within safety forces in 2004, 2005 with our fire and police because of the lack of revenues at that time. We have been able to rehire some of those officers or to fill those positions that have become available throughout 2009, and we will continue to do that looking into the year 2010. But we have to understand that the safety of our city and its citizens doesn't come at a very cheap price. It is a very, very expensive ticket item when you consider not only the personnel costs, but the cost of equipment and other capital needs that exist within those departments in order to provide the services to our citizens. So we'll beginning the beginning of the year 2010 with a very tight budget. We'll be reviewing that quite frequently with the city auditor, with the new chair of the finance committee and the whole finance committee, as well as the whole council, to keep you abreast of where we are, what we're looking at, what our projections will be going through the year 2010 and even into the year 2011. So I also want to take this opportunity this evening when we consider those members of our council who will not be returning. I want to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for all that they've done for this community. Every one of us that sits in this room on Monday nights and works throughout the week as representatives of the citizens realize that public service is becoming more and more difficult because of some of the demands that are placed upon us as well as some of the threats that go along with that. And those individuals like Mr. Bonner and Mrs. Henderson, who have served this community greatly over the past several years with their membership on this council. We have seen advances in this community. We've seen progress. No doubt through their efforts has this been possible when you consider that we have a new transit facility that we'll be dedicating next year. When this year we dedicated the bike bridge over North High Street, which is a great addition to our community. When we've seen that our police department every year turns over 5 police cruisers so that the officers are always in vehicles that they know they can use for response. When you consider that over the years we purchased a new aerial tower for our fire department that serves our citizens well and serves to protect them. Those are not cheap ticket items, and of course anytime you spend money that's controversial in the community. So I thank Mr. Bonner and Mrs. Henderson for your service to the citizens of this community, and I wish you well, and you know that you will always have an open door at the mayor's office. And for Council President Schultz, Bob, he goes all the way back to when I was on City Council. I don't want to say how long ago that was, Bob, but the many years of service that you provided to this community. goes beyond anyone matching that. Your service has been in the field not only of serving as president of council and a member of council, but also in the field in the realm of economic development and serving with the Community Improvement Corporation, which we all see as a vital cog within the economic development efforts of this entire community. I'm sure that Bob could spend many an hour sitting and talking about the contributions that have been made in this community for the creation of jobs, bringing of new business within the community, as well as retaining the businesses that we have and seeing them expand and grow. And so, Bob, we appreciate your leadership over the years. For Mr. Morrissey, who couldn't be here this evening, and certainly understand why with the weather, we wish him well. Bill and I, we have a long history together as well, which goes back more than 25 years. Yes, Tom, we have butted heads a lot, but I can recall in 1987 when Bill and I were both running for the office of mayor, and one night before a council meeting, we were out in the hallway talking, and we were kidding around with one another, and one of the news reporters said to us, "You guys are still friends?" And we said, "Well, yeah, we'll always be friends. Just because you may be adversaries politically doesn't mean that you're still not friends." And over the years, Bill and I have been friends, and he has always looked out for what is best for this community and what he sees as what is best for this community, whether that be finances or otherwise. And certainly his years of service to the city of Chillicothe, I think will go down in the history books for our community, and we wish him well as well for his future. And certainly, Bill, I know you're probably watching this evening. You know that my office door will always be open for you as well. And then I also want to take this opportunity to wish everyone within the community a happy and we hopefully a very prosperous new year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Law Director, Mrs. Eddy.
Thank you, President Schultz. I would just like to take the opportunity, I would echo the mayor's comments with respect to Mrs. Henderson and Mr. Bonner. It's been my pleasure to work with each of you. President Schultz, thank you for your years of service and your friendship. Mr. Morrissey, who is not present here tonight, my deepest respect and thanks to him. My quick calculation is that the city's losing over 70 years of experience. That's a big gap for some of the new council members and council president who are here tonight. They've got some shoes to fill there, but we will continue to try to move the city forward, and you will be missed. With that, again, Happy New Year to everyone. Please use a designated driver. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll move on with our agenda for audience participation. If there's a member of the audience that wishes to address council for any issue, you're invited to please step to the microphone. And I remind you of Council Rule 21, it requires each speaker to give their name and address, and that each speaker is limited to 5 minutes, each subject to 15 minutes.